जब सांसें भरती हूँ तेरे दिल की गलियों से, मैं हर रोज गुजरती हूँ। हवा के जैसे चलता है तू, मैं रेत जैसी उड़ती हूँ। कौन तुझे यो प्यार करेगा जैसे मैं करती हूँ।
What is the most difficult thing about balancing academics and non-academics?
Since I was really interested in it, nobody had to push me, or nobody had to remind me that I had to do both well.
People who are watching it, I just want to tell that this is a retake, it's a second take because I messed up around something technically. So Anagha graciously accepted to do it again for us. Yes. Quickly jumping into your whole experience. You have been into music, you've been into writing, and right now you're doing your bachelor's in Humanities, in which you're dealing with subjects like psychology, political science, and literature. Your whole interest into this creative side, can you just let us know the journey? How has it been since childhood?
I was introduced to Carnatic classical when I was in first grade, but then I learned it for like 1 year. But because I don't know, for some reason there was a break because we had to shift, and I think after that I was not really taking any professional training, but I was just exploring music by myself. So I've just been listening to a lot of movie songs or a lot of Western albums, and that's how I picked up singing on my own. But then later, from 6th grade to 10th grade, I started taking professional training again for Carnatic classical, where my sir used to like come home, teach me music with veena. So I was really fascinated by singing along with an instrument, because I always saw people sing with guitars and keyboards, but I never did this. I've never sung with a veena. So I was really interested. And then later, from 11th grade, I started taking professional training again from SLMCM, which is an institute started by Sri Shashikala Garu, who is singer Hemachandra's mother. So, so she's basically training me, and I'm also learning Western classical theory, and again Carnatic classical from Kalpana Raghavendra ma'am, because that was a really it was a coincidence, to be honest. Like, I really had no plan to join somewhere there, but last year I was called to sing for the chorus in this show called Super Singer. So that's where I met these really, really amazing people like Kalpana ma'am, and I've made really amazing friends who are like really close to me and who are helping me, in in fields of music. And I think I'm doing really well, because next year I think I'm going to be giving both Carnatic exams, the certification courses, and also I'm going to be giving 4 grades of Western classical theory from Trinity College of London for music. And so coming to my musical journey, I think that's how it's been like. And coming to my writing part or reading part, I've been reading since I was a kid. So I've always been into reading. So I think that's what actually pushed me into writing too, because I've been reading a lot. Like, I read books, I was reading poetry, I read articles, I don't know, a lot of fiction. I used to read biographies and all of that. So that's what pushed me to put my pen on the paper, and I've been writing ever since then.
Beautiful. You seem to be in a complete flow of your passion, your interest.
Yes, I can't agree more to that. So yeah.
How did you even get into it, or something inspired you, someone inspired you that, okay, let me do it, or some appreciations inspired you? How did you even, do you remember anything from your childhood like that?
Yeah, definitely, I guess. We used to stay in Singapore back then when during my childhood. I was like 3 years old or something, and I was always, getting myself busy with, going through pamphlets and newspapers, even though I could not understand anything. So I think it was my teachers, all the way from like, I don't know, first grade or, pre-KG or something. They've always pushed me to, read because I think I had it in me since I was a kid, not bragging, but yeah, because they and my parents, obviously, they knew that I had this creative side of, uh, writing, so they never stopped me. I think I was pretty interested in music. I would say it was always like a hobby for me, but then it was only the last 2 years, last 2 3 years, which really moved me because when my circle started to expand, I started meeting so many people, so many people who were influenced by being in the music field, and I think I've learned a lot from them.
And you were very good at balancing both academics and non academics. Acknowledging that, because you've always been successful, always been good. I want to ask, can you can you talk about how do you handle failures? Uh, or do you remember anything, any time where you were rejected?
Since I was really interested in it, nobody had to push me, or nobody had to remind me that I had to do both well. I really don't think I came all this way without, being rejected or, failing at something miserably. I mean, there was a point of time where my grades were kind of low for like an year or something, and I don't know. That's when I was like, oh, okay, fine, dude. I think you're, giving too much time for all of this, because back then obviously what I knew was you got to do well in academics and you got to do well in your extracurriculars too. So I for a while I really had to put these away, and I had to really focus on what I was doing at school. But then it was never like I completely avoided pursuing my interest, because it was my interests which were helping me do well in studies. Because if I couldn't remember some answer in my academics, I don't know, I think I used to always build a tune for the answer. I used to sing it in my head all the time. So I really used to do all of that, and I was I literally mixed both of them because it was helping me. I really didn't see that it was taking me away or something, but because since I'm into creative writing, I used to like study a lot from my uh, textbooks, and I used to try putting it my way, or I used to write stories from whatever I used to study. So even if it was uh, chemistry or physics or math, I think I would always make up stories, or I would doodle a lot. I
Mhm.
would draw. I would try to picturize everything, and I would try to put it on paper so I would remember things.
In every aspect of our life, we look up to somebody, all our role models.
True.
And who have your role models been so far? And what is it in them that you like? It could be in different aspect, you might have a different role model.
It was always my gurus who were inspiring me in so many ways possible, because from them what I've learned is that it's really important for you to explore the depths of whatever you've chosen, because it would have been different if somebody would force you, okay, learn this, okay, you know what, go to music classes, and I probably didn't want to go to music classes, but I chose music myself. So it was really important that I have to learn whatever I'm learning in a pretty good manner, because it's important for me that I know what I'm doing, right? So what I've learned from them is that just give your best if you're choosing something, and just put your heart into it, put your heart and soul into it, and you'll do really nice. Because I don't think it's always the passion which keeps you going on, but it's also the kind of efforts you put into that. So nobody has to tell you that, okay, you have to put these kind of efforts into this. Coming to my family, home, I think my dad was one person who inspired me a lot, because there was a point of time where I really lost myself. He has been really supportive because he kept talking to a lot of people. He kept boosting that confidence in me. Okay, he used to tell his colleagues that, okay, my daughter, okay, she does this, she does that, and I know he used to feel really proud. And I think that's what kept me going, because I'm like, okay, I really wanted to see him happy. I just wanted him to be happy about what he feels about me.
And what is the most difficult thing about balancing academics and non-academics?
At times you get really dilemmatic about choosing something, because sometimes I had to face these things. Like, I had my exam, for example, in my 12th, during my 12th boards, i had to I had to study for my boards, but at the same time that is when I was called for super singer. So I had to prepare for this, and I also had to study. And sometimes it used to like mentally exhaust. So even when I was on sets, even when I was in the shoot, or even when I was in the rehearsal sessions, I used to like just take my books and I used to sit study there. And when I was called, I used to just put all this away and try to sing whatever I've learned. So I think it's the time which is really important. Like, you should like really look after the time you're given. I think it's best if you utilize it a lot more efficiently than just wasting it away.
Everybody will have some habits in their life which keeps them balanced and centered. What are the habits that you stick to come what may?
Okay, to be honest, I I don't I don't mean to sound all scheduled, but I plan a lot. And I have a daily planner, or like I have a weekly planner where I have to stick to some things, like where I should really prioritize what I'm doing. Basically, all of this used to happen through writing. I used to write journals. So I have this habit of maintaining a journal, and like noting everything down. And I used to have these memory these memory planners and all of that. Like, I used to not keep myself that busy, because sometimes, like, and especially for somebody like me, I really like to talk to people. So when I talk to people, or like when I share experiences, or like when I listen to theirs, or when I talk about mine, I don't know, I think conversations is something which really just they take me. I mean, like, I really like conversing with people. I like meeting new people. So I mean, and also this pandemic has given us no option. So
Yeah.
obviously, I've been that the reason why I've learned to cook is also because of that. Because since I can't eat out, I've just cultivated this interest.
So your top
True,
habits
true.
are right now cooking, maybe sometimes taking care of your health. Second is you like talking to people, and third one is you like planning a lot, but also try to give
Going with the
space
flow.
in the plan where
True.
the unexpected things can also come in. I also know that you read a lot, and you also mentioned that there was a time when you used to finish books of 800 pages in 2 days, right?
Yes.
But talking about books, what are your top 5 books?
Okay, so I have Rich Dad and Poor Dad, and I have The Monk Who Sold Us Ferrari by Robin Sharma, and I have the whole Harry Potter series going in my mind, because that is, I mean, I'm a huge Potterhead. So, and oh, I'm into Stephen King's books too. So I really like this book called Gerald's Game, which was terrifically written, I mean, in a good way, by Stephen King. I mean, because Stephen King is known to be like the king of crime thrillers. So, uh, yeah, so it's The Monk Who Sold Us Ferrari, Rich Dad and Poor Dad,
Harry Potter
the
series.
Harry Potter series, and Gerald's Game, and The Fault in Our Stars, because I really like John Green a lot. Talking about the contemporary writers. And I mean, there are more, like, there are like seriously a lot more books.
As we're talking about books, my next question is: let's imagine you end up writing an autobiography. What would the name of that autobiography be?
what I would want to include in the title would be about not sticking to like one specific interest. It would definitely be something creative and about which describes my nature and also describes my interest and what I look at myself as. So I think it would be a mixture of all of that, and I would definitely get, come out with a name which is pretty poetic.
So your name will convey something around being diverse.
Yes.
Okay. Now, in this whole life, what made you choose Amogha after 10th? I know that you got to know about Amogha from your brother.
Brother. Yeah.
But later, what made you choose?
I thought it was a good platform where I could manage both my academics and my interests too. Like, they were like fitting like, a hand in the glove. So I was like, why not? Because I obviously, when I spoke to you, I felt it was a pretty good place to, explore more and, to get exposed to like a lot more people, other than your circle. So I think that is when it was in 11th and 12th where my circle expanded, because till 10th it was the same place, same environment, everything. But trust me, for me personally, it changed a lot, because for me personally, I got connected more with the faculty who taught me, like, talking about Suman sir, Pawan sir, like, how well they gel in with students, right? And I got connected more because there was not much of an age gap. I mean, we had a very good rapport because I don't know what, they were like 10 years elders. So, it was just like how I was conversing with you. I could like have the same kind of conversations with them too. And they were like, on campus parents. And I really liked about that. And I really liked how they were supporting students in so many ways. So
Yeah.
I think I had a pretty good experience,
But if you have to give one advice to your fellow students and the juniors, what would that advice be?
All right. I would definitely tell them that what you choose would define yourself. It's important that you choose your stream or you choose what you want to do in life, because when you're doing that, it is really important that you give your best, and now that you've chosen your things, you can't really blame anybody, because you are responsible for your consequences, right? And your actions, obviously. So keeping all of that in mind, I would ask them to, choose anything. I mean, not just academics or something, but anything, like talking
Anything
about
that
pursuing
and
their
anything that they
interests.
like. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. I just want them to choose something without having the fear of being judged.
Beautiful. I'm done with my questions. Over to you if you want to ask anything.
I know you talk a lot to students. I know you like spending time talking to students, because that does inspire you a lot. And how do you push that inspiration over to them? Making them feel good about you know what they are.
In multiple ways. Would you be able to give me a context? Maybe I can get more specific.
Example, if students come to you being dilemmatic about choosing a stream,
Mhm.
coming to your college and asking you if okay, if they're standing like in front of you, okay, I don't know what I'm into, I have no clue what this is. How would you, you know, uh, get them have a clarity about it?
Yeah. This is a very common situation I deal on a daily basis. I do two things. One is I educate them. Second is I assess them. I think I do a third thing also. I advise them also. I always tell students or anybody for that matter that choose something or at least get into a direction of something where you have your interest and strengths both. Sometimes when I meet a student whom I know might not do well in a particular subject, how much ever the effort might be. Because coming from the psychology background, I understand every subject is not for everybody and it is perfectly fine. So I will have to educate parents first that it is okay. It is okay to
True.
let it go and probably try to find where you are knowing that okay, this is my interest and also my strength. And a lot of times students do not know their interests because they haven't explored enough. They haven't explored enough to what is
Exactly.
their liking. So I would always recommend students to explore as many things as possible, participate in multiple things, go out for trips, go out for tours,
So,
talk to people.
so how would you want them to explore? Because as you rightly mentioned, so many people are confused about how they have to explore, right? Because I mean, even though they're given the chance to, communicate or like, meet people or like, have a different exposure, how do you think they can explore their own interest?
Okay, if I have to go deep, first thing that I tell students is try to gradually develop a relationship with your intuitions, with your feelings, because your inner self speaks to you in the form of a feeling. So you sometimes get a feeling that, okay, this is interesting. And that is a time when you allow yourself, give permission to explore that. I want to play cricket. Okay, let's play cricket. Or I want to do painting, explore that. And it's okay if you don't do well, perfectly fine. You just wanted to explore that. I will tell you my example. So in my childhood, I've always been into painting and sketching and all
Uh-huh.
this. And I used to enjoy it so much. And gradually, as I grown up, I realized that I had interest in talking and telling stories. And that
True.
slowly got into interest, that slowly pulled my interest into filmmaking. And I wanted to do some kind of films. And I thought I want to become a film director. And then once I started once I started my journey into direction, I realized that no, it's not just the film direction I want to do, but I want to produce. So you never know the end point. You need to just
True.
go to that point to know the calling beyond that point. So you might be able to just see till that point, but don't think that is your final destination. Once you reach there,
True.
your voice, voice will tell you, okay, let's do this one. And not that. That's perfectly fine. You have the mind, you have the capability to connect dots. And that's the beauty about human brain. We connect dots. And
True.
just listen to yourself.
That's great. Yeah, that really is true though.
Yes, yes, yes. Great, yeah. Thanks for joining in. And it was wonderful talking to you. It was fun having a conversation with you and hearing you.